Get ready for a chilling journey through some of the most horrific amusement park tragedies ever witnessed. From fatal falls to catastrophic malfunctions, these 5 disturbing deaths on amusement park rides will make you think twice before strapping in. Join us and let's discover the dark side of adrenaline-filled entertainment together. On August 7th, 2016, Michelle and Scott Schwab of Kansas took their 4 sons to Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. It was Elected Officials Day, the one day of the year when the park offered free entry to elected officials and their families. As it happened, Scott Schwab was a Kansas state representative. The kids were more than thrilled at the prospect of spending a day of fun on the water slides. Out of all of them, Caleb, the couple's 10-year-old son, was perhaps the most excited. But what was supposed to be a day of joy turned into the worst possible scenario for any family. At that point, Schlitterbahn was a wonder, mainly because of its main attraction, a water slide called Verrückt, which means insane in German. The water slide had an impressive height of 168 feet and 7 inches, which at least at that point made it the tallest water slide in the entire world. Verrückt was the creation of Jeff Henry, the co-owner of the water park, who had designed the water slide himself. With such a promise of fun, it was only natural that 10-year-old Caleb Schwab was eager to ride Verrückt. Verrückt, as tall and towering as it was, had no age restriction, despite the fact that a consultant had previously recommended an age limit of 16. As such, Caleb and his older brother, 12-year-old Nathan, were able to experience the ride. Caleb and Nathan let their parents know they wanted to go on Verrückt soon after the family arrived at the park. Scott, their father, asked the 2 boys to stick together for the day. Caleb agreed, then eagerly headed off with his brother. These would be the very last words father and son exchanged. The brothers ascended the 264 steps to the top of Verrückt. Nathan was the first one to get into one of the water slide rafts and experience the ride, with Caleb impatiently waiting for his turn at the top of the water slide. Then it was Caleb's turn. Nathan waited for his brother at the bottom of the slide. The ride featured 2 drops, the first being a 17-story plunge. Riders occupied 3-person rafts, each weighing 100 pounds, and were required to have a combined weight of no more than 550 pounds to prevent the rafts from lifting off the slide. When it was Caleb's turn to go down the slide, the boy was seated at the front of Raft B with 2 women behind him. Caleb weighed only 73 pounds, far less than the 2 women, an important factor in the tragedy that was just about to play out. It all happened so fast. As the raft sped down the chute and over the first hill, it went airborne on the second hill. Caleb was thrown against the netting designed to prevent riders from being thrown from the ride, striking a metal pole. The young boy was decapitated instantly. Witnesses below watched in horror as Caleb's body descended the chute, leaving a bloody trail on the slide. To make matters worse, Nathan, Caleb's older brother by 2 years, saw the entire tragedy unfold. He screamed in terror, saying his brother flew from the slide. Michelle Schwab, the boy's mother, desperately tried to reach Caleb, but she was stopped by other witnesses who knew the sight would be too devastating for any mother. The boy's father, Scott, repeatedly asked if his son was dead. Scott was in shock. When he heard that Caleb was indeed dead, he was overwhelmed with grief. As emergency services attended to the other women on the raft, the Schwab family was left to grapple with their immense grief. Returning home in a daze, questions arose about how and why Caleb had died. An investigation into the incident provided some answers to the devastated family. First off, there was the matter of Caleb and his weight. His being seated at the front of Raft B created an uneven weight distribution. To top things off, other information seemed to point to Raft B having a tendency to go abnormally fast and airborne far more often than other rafts. Even more, safety concerns had plagued Verrückt from the start. Verrückt was designed by people with no background in mechanical engineering. As such, it was created with the use of trial and error methods and not engineering practices. During testing, it became evident that the ride had severe issues, with rafts frequently going airborne and the ride proving dangerously fast. Videos of sandbags flying off rafts during testing went viral before the ride opened, prompting co-creator Jeff Henry to claim the ride was safe dangerous. Despite warnings from an engineering firm about the ride's hazards, it opened to the public with riders going airborne and hitting the netting. Caleb's tragic passing prompted other park visitors to come forward with their own stories of the ride. As it turned out, some 13 riders suffered injuries such as concussions and slipped herniated discs. In early 2017, the Schwab family settled with Schlitterbahn and other parties for approximately $20 million. Verrückt was dismantled, and the Kansas City Park closed on September 3, 2018. In March 2018, Jeff Henry, along with 2 other individuals, were indicted on charges including second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter, but the charges were dropped the following year due to alleged illegal evidence. It was July 26, 2017, when Tyler Jarrell and his girlfriend Keziah Lewis arrived at the Ohio State Fair for an exciting day of fun. After spending an extremely taxing morning at her grandfather's funeral, Keziah found the lively and vibrant fair to be the ideal place to unwind. As they wandered through the colorful attractions and bustling crowds, neither of them could have predicted the terrible tragedy that the Fireball ride would bring them. Tyler, an 18-year-old Columbus, Ohio, fresh high school graduate, had recently signed up for the Marines. His proud moment of enlisting was captured in a photo he posted on Facebook. The picture shows him carrying a plaque while wearing his Marine Corps uniform. Tyler and Keziah made the decision to end their visit that day by riding the Fireball, an exhilarating attraction that swung riders 40 feet into the air while spinning them at high speeds. Little did they know this ride would malfunction disastrously, leading to a catastrophic outcome. At first, everything seemed normal as the Fireball began its rotation. However, a sudden, strong shaking disrupted the ride and alarmed the passengers. And then it happened. A whole section of the roller coaster snapped, flinging passengers into the air. Tyler was thrown with such force that he never stood a chance. Keziah, Tyler's girlfriend, was severely injured in the horrifying accident, suffering severe damage to her pelvis, ankles, and ribs. The chaos that followed was beyond description. As emergency responders raced to the site, onlookers watched in shock. But it was too late for Tyler Jarrell, who had died upon impact. The investigation that followed showed that the Fireball had been inspected and deemed safe by the Ohio Department of Agriculture a few hours prior to the tragedy. Yet something had gone seriously wrong. Authorities quickly shut down all rides at the fair, and KMG International BV, the manufacturer of the Fireball, instructed operators worldwide to cease operations of similar rides. The investigation revealed structural flaws that had gone undetected, raising questions about the frequency and thoroughness of ride inspections. The emotional toll on Tyler's family and friends was immense. Keziah, Tyler's girlfriend, was devastated to hear about his passing when she woke up in the hospital after undergoing multiple surgeries. The town of Columbus, where Tyler was highly regarded and well-loved, mourned the loss of a bright young man whose destiny was snatched away so suddenly. Following the incident, Amber Duffield, Tyler's mother, and other supporters pushed for stricter safety laws. This resulted in the Tyler's Law initiative, which sought to enhance Ohio's safety standards for amusement rides. The purpose of the bill was to make sure that operators are held to higher accountability standards and that rides go through more thorough inspections. As the fair reopened, albeit with a somber atmosphere, and rides temporarily closed, the tragedy left an indelible mark on all who attended. For Keziah, who would never regain full mobility, the journey of recovery was both physical and emotional. Yet she found strength